Hey guys, how are you? I'm Tampa City Councilman Viera. I'm here with my good friend, former Judge E.J. Salcines, and we're here to talk about something that means so much to Tampa and means so much to our great country, the life and legacy of Lieutenant Baldomero López. This September 15th will mark 75 years since one of Tampa's Medal of Honor recipients gave all for his country and our country in Inchon, Korea. And I'm here with former judge and former state attorney, E.J. Salcines, who has always been a champion of Lieutenant Baldomero López as a proud Hispanic and as a proud patriotic American, to talk about the legacy of Lieutenant Baldomero López and what it means to us here in Tampa and Florida and our United States today. So Judge Salcines, welcome and thank you for coming here, sir. So tell us, sir, about the life of Lieutenant Baldomero López and what he means to you and what he means to our Tampa.
Well, it's ironic that we're filming this just before his 100th birthday, and then on September 15, coming up, will be the 75th anniversary of his death at Inchon, Korea. Inchon, Korea was a very difficult area to invade, and General MacArthur selected that over the objection of a lot of his men, but they did it and they succeeded, and it changed the course of history in Korea. Our man from Tampa, Baldomero López, a graduate of Hillsborough High School in the class of 43 that immediately went into the Navy and was so sharp that they quickly plucked him out of the Navy ranks and sent him to U.S. Naval Academy at Annapolis. Graduating from there, he selected the U.S. Marine Corps and became a first lieutenant and was there at the Inchon invasion, particularly the historic picture of his going up the Higgins boat on a makeshift stepladder because of the 6-foot seawall in Inchon. And the last words that were heard by the photographer that was snapping pictures, who later received the Pulitzer Prize, was, "Follow me." And his men followed him onto the beach there. And the last words that we had of Baldomero López was, "Live grenade." He wanted to alert his platoon that there was a live grenade, and when he couldn't reach it, he chose to self-sacrifice himself by cradling the hand grenade and took the full blast and, of course, died instantly. That was so impressive among his officials that they wrote to General MacArthur. And the boy from Tampa, the boy from Ybor City and Hillsborough High School, received posthumously the highest medal that we have to honor, and that is the Congressional Medal of Honor, now known simply as the Medal of Honor.
And Judge, and thank you for that. Tell us about Lieutenant Baldomero López's family, his parents, who are Gold Star parents. Tell us some about his family, if you don't mind.
Yes, his father was a cigar maker who had come from the province of Asturias, learned the cigar industry in Cuba, came to Tampa, fell in love with a Tampa girl of Italian of Sicilian parents, and married her, and from there, exactly 100 years ago, young Baldomero López was born. There is another brother that is born a little later, Joe, who is since deceased, and they lived in a small home behind the Centro Asturiano Hospital, and he used to walk to school and used to walk over to Hillsborough, and at Hillsborough High School, he was such an outstanding leader that he became the colonel in charge of the ROTC unit, and he was such an outstanding leader that when all of the ROTC units had to parade, they asked him to be the commanding officer of all the ROTC units in Hillsborough County.
That's amazing. That's a great recitation. So tell us, I mean, when I think of you, to me, you are Mr. Hispanic. Your groundbreaking work as state attorney and just being inclusive and hiring folks like Judge Virginia Covington, Judge George Edgecombe to work as state attorney, et cetera. So you know a thing or two about diversity and pluralism. So, consistent with that, tell us about Lieutenant Baldomero López's legacy and why that's so important to us in the year 2025.
It's absolutely important that we remember our Hispanic heroes, and he was one that was being forgotten. And back in 1980, Tony Pizzo, who was the president of the the Tampa Historical Society, said, EJ, let's write up a historical marker. And that's how we started publicizing the leadership of this Tampa boy who went on to be a Medal of Honor recipient. And from then on, that legacy has gone on. We have a Seffner Elementary School called the Lieutenant Lopez. We have a Hillsborough High School unit, the ROTC, which is the Baldomero López. We have the Veterans Administration Nursing Home up in Land O'Lakes. And we have done our best to perpetuate this memory as a living example of an American of Hispanic background who gave his all for the United States of America.
And I'll tell you, on a personal basis, if it wasn't for you, Judge, I wouldn't know about Lieutenant Lopez. I learned about him through you, and you would take me when I was a younger lawyer on a field trip throughout Tampa. We went to the cemetery where he's buried with his parents. We went to Hillsborough High. We went to see the historical marker, and you've always been such an amazing champion of Lieutenant Baldomero López. So, tell us why it's so important for us to remember our heroes in general, like Lieutenant Lopez. We have other Medal of Honor recipients in Tampa. We have Ronald Ray, the late Paul Ray Smith, who gave all in Iraq. Why is it important for Americans to remember those heroes who signed up in uniform and their families?
And it's important because they are living examples of leadership, and they are an inspiration to the rest of the generations. America is great, but freedom is not for free, and it takes all of us united to make this a better community and a better country. And they are leaders that gave their all for their nation.
Okay, thank you so much, Judge, for coming here with us. Again, we appreciate, Judge, all of your work here as an attorney, as a jurist, as a state attorney, and as a Hispanic leader in Tampa who makes people like me so very proud, but especially for purposes of this, as a champion of one of our greatest Tampeños ever, Lieutenant Baldomero López, and his family. Always talk about his parents who gave their son for our country and for the freedom of people in South Korea, something that we can't forget about. And consistent with that, we're excited that we're working on together a statue to commemorate Baldomero López, which will be hopefully done roughly within the next year. And we'll be announcing that formally and talking about that, but a statue that we're working on to honor Lieutenant Baldomero López, because we need public spaces that remind Americans about what's great about our country.
And I'm grateful to that, and Semper Fi.
Thank you, Judge, and God bless you, man. Dios te bendiga.